Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Energia Park here in Donnybrook for today's Leinster Senior League final meeting between Clontarf and Lansdowne. It's Thomas O'Brien here from Old Wesley Rugby Club, and I'm delighted to be joined by Justin beside me here. Justin, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, and you. And honestly, I can't wait for this fixture, Tom. A chance for one of these sides to really stamp their mark before next week when the All-Ireland League commences.
Yeah, look, this is of old the showpiece of domestic rugby. It's the Leinster Senior League final. It's a trophy that every club wants to win. This isn't a pre-season friendly in any way, shape or form. This is a competition that both sides want to win. If we look at the path to the final here, Clontarf, of course, beat Old Wesley in the first game out by a point. One that Wesley may have won, but hey, that's just me being biased. Then they beat Old Belvedere 38-29. And again, last week having that 1 point victory over UCD, up in UCD. And we'll hand you over to Lansdowne. And Justin, just talk about, if you want to have a chat about Lansdowne's path to the final.
Well, Lansdowne, they've been very impressive. They actually won their first game of the season in the Leinster Senior Cup, so they're still alive in that competition. But they've been very impressive in their last 3 games against Tirrenia, St Mary's and then Trinity, scoring plenty of points. And Clontarf have actually been the same, and they've really showed their ability to score tries and also win a game to death last week with Connor Kelly converting captain Dylan Donaldson's try in the corner.
Great. So as the teams have now gone into to final preparations, we're going to test your homework here, Justin. Do you want to run us through the teams, and we'll start off with Clontarf first. So we just have it on screen there now. So let's see how good your homework's actually been.
So loose head prop is Ivan Soroka. He's 8 years at the club. The stand-in captain today is Dylan Donnellan for Matt Darcy. The tight head prop, he's a newcomer, Ben Griffin, watch out for him. He's got a bag of tricks. The lock combination is Fionn Gilbert and Cormac Daly. The loose trio there is Adrian Darcy, Tony Ryan and Max Carney. Watch out for him, he's got a big engine on himself.
Ladies.
The halfback combination is Andrew Feeney and Connor Kelly, who's really starting to nail down the number 10 jersey. The centre combination is Connor Kearns and Michael Courtney. And then the back three, watch out for Jordan Mulvaney, who's really been working hard to cement his place in the first side. Jack Power is lightning at fullback, and the right winger Michael Brown.
And then we move to Lansdowne's team today.
Front row, Frank Kavanagh. Number 2, Luke Thompson. Watch out for him, he's a good poacher on the ground. Conan Dunn also has a lot of skills. The lock combination and Joe Sparrow and Jack Dwan. Watch out for Clive Ross. The flanker, who's a former Ulster professional and also cousin of Mike Ross, who actually played 61 tests for Ireland and also played for Clontarf. Mark Boyle is the number 8. He's their top try scorer this season. Jack O'Sullivan is the captain of Lansdowne in the number 7 jersey. Watch out for James Kenny. He's always a threat to number 9. Peter Hasty has been in form with the boot at 10. The centre combination of Paul Kiernan and Corey Reid, who is a new signing from Buccaneers. And the back three, Eamon Mills. He was All-Ireland Leinster Player of the Year in 2016 to 2017. And then the 2 wingers on the left wing, Liam O'Sullivan and Sean Galvin.
And of course the management sides here. Today we have Mark McHugh, of course, in his second year as head coach with Lansdowne, stepping out from the shadow of the formidable Mike Ruddock, who's been at the club for many years, and Andy Wood, who's been head coach in Clontarf since probably Christ was a child. So he's been there. I did ask Andy, could we say how many years he was in the club, but he said no, because it would give away his age. So now we have Tarf coming out here first to the pitch, led by the captain.
So Clontarf, led by Dylan Donnellan, who was very proud of his try in the left-hand corner last week against UCD.
And now followed by Lansdowne, of course, led out by their captain Jacko today. And for those of you who are watching overseas, it is hard to believe it is almost the end of September and it's currently 20 degrees in Donnybrook. That is correct, 20 degrees. Everybody's here in shorts and t-shirts, and we're going to see those of you who haven't watched AIL rugby or senior rugby for a while, we actually play 4 20-metre quarters. So with COVID, we've had limited amount of water coming onto the pitch, so there will be a water break after 20 minutes and after 60 minutes just for a minute or two. And of course in the middle today we have Old Welty's own Nigel Correll. Nigel, a referee of international standard at FIRA level, and ran the touch for many Heineken Cup games, and in the middle for a lot of the old Challenge Cup.
So it'll be Clontarf playing from left to right. Connor Kelly, the fly-off, will get us underway. Former Leinster under-18s and Ireland under-19s, and also part of the under-20 extended squad a few years ago. But he's really been on form. And Nigel Correll, referee, just checking with his officials for time on. And we're underway at Energia Park. And it's taken by Sullivan, and he's hashed that into touch. So early pressure and a good opportunity for Clontarf to set up a platform.
Interesting to note here, Justin, Clontarf are going short early with their first line out. So we'll probably look to see something off the top, trying to negate that forward power of Lansdowne.
Donovan to feed, the captain, gets the line out right. Feeney, Carney, and it's Spilt in the tackle. Good pressure from Lansdowne. They got it over that on the left. And some big hits that time by Gilbert, the lock forward. And we'll come back for the knock on.
So as we approach the first scrum of the game, this is going to be very interesting here to see what sort of marker that Tarf are putting down. I think Tarf with a slightly heavier pack, but Lansdowne a little bit more experience in the pack today. But of course, Tarf anchored at 8 by Ryan, who's been here for many years, and of course Ryan riding high on the result from last Sunday from his local club, the Raps, winning the Wexford Hurling Senior Championship for the first time in 43 years. Of course, I'm a member of that club myself, so I had to get that one in.
Of course, the scrum is such a vital part of the game. It's really an area where you can set dominance.
Let's see how Nigel reps this one too.
So James Kenny will feed for Lansdowne. Looks solid from Lansdowne, but they're going a little bit backwards, and Kenny delivers. And here's Paul Kiernan, and he's tackled by Tony Ryan, the big number 8. Kenny trying to soul a dummy. And happy to pick and drive our Lansdowne. And Kenny looking for distance, and then decides to have a go, and that's what he can do. A very dangerous scrum off. Another good drive. And they've got space on the left. That's the prop forward, Frank Kavanagh, and he's smashed in the tackle. And Kenny having to reset. And this time he goes for the box kick. And Clontarf in all sorts, and here come Lansdowne now. They got Mulvaney, the left winger, and that has gone into touch. So Clontarf under early pressure, and James Kenny, such a threat at number 9. So Donovan, the skipper, he'll have to get this one right.
Tarf short again in the line out.
And Gilbert, as safe as a house, lets it go, and it's play on. Donovan, and the skipper is under massive pressure. And Feeney, the halfback, decides to clear. And that ball is not out. Here's Mulvaney, the left winger. Good tackling from Clontarf. Kenny, and here's Clive Ross, smashed in the tackle. Some big hits out here at Energia Park. Good delivery. And Kiernan slicing through. Kiernan scores. Try time Lansdowne. Brilliant delivery there by Peter Hasty, the number 10. And what a statement from Lansdowne.
Yeah, again, early pressure from Lansdowne, not afraid to go to the corner and pin them back. Gilbert took the ball well in the short lineup, but mishandled the transfer, and that's what got him into all that trouble. And again, just Lansdowne not afraid to have a cut early.
Set piece so crucial. And Hasty. Judy converts. A Lansdowne 7, Clontarf 0. So Connor Kelly will look to put the pressure on. And that's really well taken by the left winger, Jordan Mulvaney. That is an exceptional tackle by Tony Ryan, and there's space on the right. Courtney hearing after it. And Mulvaney has had a lot of work to do in these opening few minutes.
We're going to come back for the scrum, I think, here rather than the knockout. Nope.
It's the goal line dropout.
Goal line dropout. Now this is interesting. There's only one man on the 5 up, and it has to go, of course, 10 under the new rules.
Peter Hasty. An opportunity here for Power. Jack Power on the charge. Feeney goes on the short side. Here's Gilbert. The big lock forward. Feeney to Ryan again. She's really been physical in these opening exchanges. Kelly throws an intercept, and here's danger. Kiernan that time with the poach. Space on the right. Hasty. And then hacked ahead by Lansdowne. And some good rugby, some entertaining rugby being played in these opening few minutes.
Yeah, mistakes by both sides over that passage of play. Of course, Lansdowne with the one-out runner, not something that they do a lot of. And of course, we see why. We get a knock on, and then just that shit pass. It didn't even look like there was any authority on that pass. It was just a turn and shovel, and of course, it was read by a very simple 13 press D that got the intercept.
So Donovan. Rising that time was a Daly, and lucky to get it back off Clontarf. And in their 22, under pressure, Kelly this time with an interesting kick. And that's not his best kick.
No.
From Connor Kelly.
But to be fair, he's probably only lost about 4 yards on the kick anyway.
Luke Thompson. It'll be interesting to see what Lansdowne can do with this line out. They've got a second opportunity here to really put some scoreboard pressure on. Thompson with the feed. And look to organise the rolling more.
That was well sacked there early by Tarf. Not let Lansdowne get a chance to get a head of steam up, and I think we have a turnover. We do indeed.
And Daly, that was superb by a lock forward. And space on the left for Courtney. The big outside centre. On the short side goes Connor Kearns. And Feeney delivers once more. So out of a bit of trouble here, Clontarf. And Gilbert at the carry. Kelly, they got an overlap on the right, but Clontarf decided to take it into contact. They got loads on the right. It's Kelly to Courtney. It's a 3-on-1. Courtney buys the dummy. Beautiful from Kearns. And here's trouble again. Carney has to tidy up the scrappy ball and throws a remarkable offload. This is the rugby you like to see. Jack Power. Feeney to Ben Griffin, the new addition. And it's been lost. And here's trouble. Carney has to go back again, but we'll come back for the knock on.
Wow, that's been lightning end-to-end stuff over the last couple of minutes. Can't see the game remaining at this pace. But again, it was a great overlap that Tarfa created. Courtney cut inside. Possibly maybe should have fixed and give. But again, credit to Lansdowne, it was very well defended. That scramble D, they played the sweeper. He came across and he was able to cover it. So again, we'll see how this scrum goes.
Kenny with the feet. They were going slightly backwards in the last scrum, and he whips it out for Hasty. Back to Kenny. He has big trouble. It's Michael Brown, the right winger. And going for the steal is Courtney, and he does a terrific job. The outside centre, vital steal.
Yeah, again, he just got isolated away from support there. It was good work up, but not a lot of distance on that kick. They're still well deep in their half, just about 10 metres outside of the 22. So we've got time off for a Clontarf injury.
Just some running repairs. Experienced Nigel Coral, referee in the middle today.
The stadium clock has stopped, but our time on the stream is about 2 minutes off the stadium clock, so we're going to let it run. Apologies, folks. We had a slight technical glitch there when we started. So we are reading at about 9 minutes 14 seconds on our clock, but it's in essence 11 minutes on the stadium.
There's Ivan Soroka, who was down, brother of Alex Soroka, who had an outstanding under-20 Six Nations campaign.
Yeah, he really was a bowling ball, wasn't he? Anytime he carried ball and men with him.
So Donnellan, the skipper, finds Daly and Feeney and Carney. Never stops working. Kelly once more. Kearns. There's another overlap. Power. And Michael Brown. Feeney and Gilbert. Look at the leg drive. Kelly whips it out. Courtney. And it's been spilt by Daly, the big man. And that's very frustrating for Clontarf. Just struggling a little bit with execution.
Yeah, but they are getting wide at ease off that set piece. It's interesting to see. Lansdowne's D is not really drifting. It is fixing on the man. And again, Tarf yet haven't taken the drive off the line. Everything is off the top and they are getting wide with ease. They just need to figure out the right way now to work it back in.
So some good play from both right wingers. A minute or so ago from Sean Galvin on the right wing for Lansdowne, and then Mike Brown on the right wing for Clontarf.
You would have to say it's probably advantage Tarf in the scrum at the moment. Again, another big shunt.
And here's Galvin. He's so dangerous. Look at him go. He makes it look so easy. Sheer brilliance from the right winger, and Lansdowne strike again.
Wow, that's just off the cuff virtuoso stuff. Again, you can't say it was a pre-planned move. That scrum was coming back at pace, and again they just had to pick and go quickly, and he just beat the men with pace. Speed kills, folks.
It was a beautiful sight. Colvin, almost the moment he made that gap, he knew he was going to go all the way. And Clontarf, well, they're going to have to sort out their defence. Very tough kick here for Peter Hasty, ex-Wicklow, and came up through Lansdowne under 20s. Ice cold from Peter Hasty, and it's a really good start for Lansdowne. So Lansdowne 14, Clontarf 0. Kelly. That's a rugby incident over there, or maybe not.
Yeah.
What does Nigel Coral say?
That didn't look good, so we're just going to take the camera away from that for a moment, folks.
Both players competing in the air, and that's always a tough one if both players are watching the ball.
Yeah, to be fair, I think both players are fully committed on the ball. They both left at the same time. It's just one of those unfortunate mid-air collisions. Where it was the winger against Tony Ryan. Tony's just down receiving some treatment at the moment, and the Lansdowne winger seems to have gotten up okay. So we've taken the water break here, folks. The clock has stopped, and we're just going to let the on-screen clock run just so we can catch up with the stadium clock. It's been a fairly frenetic opening 15 minutes here so far. To be fair, you know, Clontarf are getting wide with ease off set piece, but their D is letting them down at times. Lansdowne, you know, they really haven't done a lot with the ball. They've capitalised off Clontarf's mistakes, and of course, yes, it was off a set piece scrum, but it was a scrum that was going backwards. They didn't have a move to play. They just picked and went, and again, just blistering pace.
But Liam O'Sullivan from Lansdowne has been exceptional in the air.
Yeah, very, very good. And again, look, you know, the Clontarf line-out is working well. They're getting it. They're getting it off the top. I'm sorry, it wasn't Tony Ryan that was down. Apologies. Can't see. The physios are covering him now. But the player, of course, is back to his feet, and he's being aided off. So some concussion protocols there. So we'll restart with a scrum to Lansdowne, I think here. Just on the 22.
So Keane Eggington is on the field for Clontarf. An opportunity here for Clontarf to get back into the game. 14 points down after about 15 minutes. And Feeney feeds, and the scrum is looking impressive. Feeney, Kelly, Courtney on the charge. Under pressure, Lansdowne trying to get the steal. Feeney and Gilbert, and he's smashed in the tackle by Dwan. Clontarf lucky to have this one back. It's Griffin, Courtney, and here's O'Sullivan, the left winger. Thompson with a little bit of a dummy. And Sparrow, that's on. Peter Hasty. Kenny, space on the right here. And here's Boyle, solves a dummy. Lansdowne looking dangerous once more, and Clontarf managed to get a penalty.
I think that was Gilbert in on the jackal there on Mark Boyle. Boyle, of course, a former captain of the Leinster under-18 youths, winning the Interpro with them.
Also top try scorer for Lansdowne this season.
And his older brother Paul made his got his first Irish cap this summer against USA, coming on in the second half. And of course Pablo, his dad, a former manager of the Irish ladies team with Goose.
So Donovan gets the darts right this time. Good take by Darcy. Rothing more.
Tarfer really
He's looking good.
Use that pack weight and make it count.
Lansdowne trying to come through the centre. Feeney and Connor Kelly decides to go back into the traffic. The out off, and Daly trying to get over the advantage line. Connor Kearns with the carry, the inside centre, and Feeney, the little halfback. Lansdowne putting a lot of pressure at the breakdown. Griffin to deputise at scrum off, the big tight head prop. Kearns, good delivery to Power, and into the 22. Clontarf go. Penalty to Clontarf, so decision time here. What do you feel, Tom? Do they need to get a 5-pointer?
I'd actually go for the corner here, considering the dominance that the Clontarf pack have had. You know, it is a final. You're 14 points down. Yeah, you stick it in the corner. You tell the big boys, you go have a cut. Let's see what we can do here.
And once or twice they're rolling, Moores also look good.
But again, this is going to be quite hard to defend for Lansdowne as we take another water break here. You know, they've gone off the top. But then the last line out, they mauled it. So now for Lansdowne, you're really going to ask questions of them. So they don't really know how to defend this. So of course, McHugh going on to deliver instructions to his team.
So Lansdowne with 2 exceptional tries through their inside centre, Paul Kiernan, and their right winger, Sean Galvin. And Clontarf, well, they have had their opportunities and they have managed to penetrate the line as well. It's just that execution.
So those of you who haven't watched that much club rugby or AIL rugby over the last year and a half, this is one of the COVID water breaks. So there are restrictions on the amount of water carriers you can bring onto a pitch at any time. And with COVID now, they've brought in a water break at the 20 and the 60 minute mark. So this is something that has been happening for the last year and a half. And quite frankly, I actually think it's quite a good idea. I think maybe this is one of the legacies of COVID that we might keep. So again, we restart play here with a 5 metre line out to Clontarf. 20 minutes gone in the first half.
This is a big moment in the game as well. It's their chance to be 1 score away from Lansdowne. A big throw for the captain, Donnellan.
And again, they're gone short. 5 in the line out. 6 in the line out, apologies.
Donnellan is at the back. Scored a try last week and he's on the charge. Stern defence by Lansdowne. A golden opportunity. Feeney, Gilbert, the lock forward. So close.
Free play here for Clontarf. They're playing with advantage for offside.
And Taylor, the lock forward. Feeney, Kelly, whips it out. Beautiful stuff. But into touch.
No, into touch. So we come back for the offside under the posts.
Donnellan, the skipper, with the tap and go. He pops it. Gives it to Borja. The big pop forward. And Taylor. Feeney pops it. Really close now. Can they keep their composure? Feeney once more to Taylor. Agonizingly close.
And again, this new rule, they have to be very careful here not to be held up.
And there's the try. Feeney, the little half backs in. And Clontarf are back in the game.
Yeah, that was a bold call on the tap and go. I was thinking in my head, scrum it, because they're having the advantage of the scrum here, tie them in and see what your backs can do. But it has worked out for them.
Showing great determination, Clontarf. And that was a pressure time as well. Because if they didn't manage to cash in there, they've been 3 or 4 times into the 22. And it can really start getting to you psychologically. So Connor Kelly to make it a 7-point ball game at Energia Park.
And again, a perfect position to go into the water break with a 5-metre line out. You know, we've had dead play for a few minutes, so it's time to get that momentum to swing back in your favour of your Clontarf. Great kick.
Kelly, no problem. She's really been reliable with the boot. So much history between both these two clubs, both formed in the 1800s, and that's a rough sort of a kick. It's an easy one for Clontarf to deal with, but they don't find touch. And here's Eamon Mills. Solid defense from Clontarf. It's Kenny and Ross this time, and Max Carney putting in a great hit. Hasty to Kiernan, the inside centre, and here's Reed. Unforced error from Lansdowne. Another opportunity here for Clontarf to get back in the game, and the race is on. And Eamon Mills with a good step, but he's under a lot of pressure here. Lansdowne have to consolidate. Pick and drive just to relieve some pressure.
Creating a better angle for the exit kick here for the 10.
And Kenny relieves the pressure. And that's not out. Danger, here's Power. He's been good at the back, the fullback.
Great support there by the Clontarf pack, getting around and getting in on that one.
And here's Gilbert, really one of the leaders. And Griffin, tackled by the captain of Lansdowne, Jack O'Sullivan. Here's Kelly, whips it out to Courtney, tackled by Clive Ross, and it's a penalty to Lansdowne. So Peter Hasty. It's a good touch finder. Close to half an hour gone.
Full line out here. Lansdowne slowly walk in.
So Thompson and Jack Duane with the take. And Kiernan, that's gone backwards. Kenny comes to the rescue, pops it to Hasty. And Power decides safety first. But we come back for the penalty, and this could be trouble, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to the pocket. That's a straight yellow every day.
O'Sullivan, so it was a really good start for the left winger in the air. And some good sportsmanship there, at least afterwards, going up to just check if the player's all right.
Yeah, I don't think there's any malice in that. It was just a sloppily timed late jump into for the block. But again, under the rules, it's a professional foul. It's always going to draw a yellow.
And both teams actually, in the last 3 or 4 games, there's been quite a few yellow cards for both sides. So they'll have to sort out their discipline. But still, early days in the season. Of course, the All Ireland League only kicks off next week. Opening game is on Friday down at Old Belvedere. They're taking on Nace, but that is
Power
Division
back
1B.
Good to see.
So Kelly, and it'll really be interesting if Clontarf can cash in here now. And score 2 consecutive tries.
Again, Tarf opting to go with that shortened line out. No, they're gone full this time. Excuse me, apologies, they are gone full.
Donovan with the feed. And they look to set up the maul. And the captain at the back is steering the ship. The hooker, the captain, Donovan, edging closer. Feeney to Kearns with the dummy. Beautiful stuff from the inside centre. And a penalty to Clontarf. And Lansdowne need to be careful here with their discipline.
Yeah, that's 2 in the red zone, 2 in a row.
Clontarf are working their way into this game very nicely. Lansdowne with a player in the bin, so they'll look to capitalise on this.
Tap and go again.
Donovan. Another pick and drive. Really close again. Shouting for the try, but hold up. So they have a goal line dropout.
I'm going to say something slightly controversial here. I actually think Clontarf got away with something there. They actually pre-bound before the tap and go. It wasn't a heavy bind, but it still was a bind, and you can't do that anymore. So they actually got away with that penalty, but again, held up, so now we have a try line dropout.
Of course, that tactic was heavily employed by the Springboks in the 2019 World Cup. And Donovan, he's really been involved, the skipper, the stand-in skipper for Matt Darcy. Ryan, the number 8. Kelly. Good pass from Soroka to Courtney. Feeney works the short side of Kearns, who's looked good. And Lansdowne, they're over that ball. Great stuff at the breakdown by Lansdowne.
Huge reaction from the Lansdowne bench in front of us here. That's the first positive penalty they've got for 10 minutes probably.
And they've been under pressure as well in the last 10 or so minutes.
Yeah. Time for Hasty to relieve some pressure here.
interesting to see what Lansdowne do. Will they look to eat the clock away with the play in the bin, or will they just keep on playing their normal game? Thompson. Nice line up from Lansdowne. Hasty. And Boyle in midfield. Kenny, Hasty with a flat pass to Moles. And here's the try scorer, Galvin. Really good defence from Clontarf that time. Lansdowne not really going anywhere, and it's been poached, but illegally so.
Ryan living on the margins there, but that one got that one slightly wrong. Again, 2 mistakes by Clontarf. Momentum swinging again back in the Lansdowne's favour as they move up just outside the 22 with a line out.
So Luke Thompson, the Wicklow man, with the feed. Up goes Clive Ross, but it's been poached by Cormac Daly. And Clontarf will be loving that. They've got space on the right as well. 3-on-1. Here we go. It's power. Feeney. Good competition at the breakdown. It's really been ruthless. Feeney once more to Kelly. And that's a heavy let-off there, because Clontarf had about 5 or 6 players on the outside. Just the stoppage here for injured player. Two players actually down.
Yeah, and again, I know I've said this several times now, but Clontarf are getting the ball wide with ease. Lansdowne are playing a set D, they're not drifting out, they're allowing the cover tackle to come in on the wing, and it is working for them. But again, all you need is, you know, one bounce of the ball out there, and it's interesting to think that when Clontarf do go wide like that, they are trying to run it, they're not trying to look to kick. So it's going to be one to watch. Will they mix it up as they start to get wide and not getting the purchase with it? Will they start to knock it in behind and see? We also haven't seen one 20-50 or 50-20 kick yet today.
But actually, Tom, to be honest, we haven't seen much of them across all levels of the game. But if this first 32 or 33 minutes is anything to go by, we've got such a huge season in store. Clontarf with the shove. Kenny gets rid of it. Hasty. And beautiful play by Moles, but he's let it go. And here's big trouble. It's Darcy, the flanker, on the charge. A chance for Clontarf to really make Lansdowne pay.
They've numbers wide here.
Donovan, the captain. Connor Kelly to Kearns to Courtney. Tackled by Kiernan. Kelly and Power smashed in the tackle by Moles. And Ryan with yet another carry. And half back there, Feeney and Kenny. And that's another let-off, and here's big trouble, Ross. That time. And Lansdowne, Tom, are just surviving these onslaughts from Clontarf.
Yeah, but again, you know, like Clontarf put themselves in a very dominant position. They're playing a high-tempo game, which is great. But in that situation, a tip-on pass, it's never. You really have to be 100% sure of it. And with the fact that Lansdowne are pressing so hard on it, I really don't think that was an option. Again, they're moving them wide. You know, I think they just might be panicking a little bit in the red zone rather than just trying to move them to one side, move to the next, and let the space open. But what a steal by the back row, and again motoring up the pitch.
Lansdowne have been good at the breakdown.
Interesting as well in that last scrum. That's probably Lansdowne's best scrum of the day now. Some of the changes they made in the pack seem to have worked. They really are locking out that turf push. Probably only a minute left on the yellow card as well.
It's a massive surge by Clontarf. Lansdowne do well to survive that one, and Moles a bit frustrated there, the fullback. Ivan Soroka just giving the call to Donovan. Perhaps maybe the players from both sides are slowing things down.
Short again here from Tarf. But they're not afraid to drive in a short ball either.
Gilbert, Feeney, Kelly and Ryan over the advantage line once more, and Feeney and Courtney very flat. That time from Clontarf. And Clive Ross gets a few extra meters. And Hasty to Moles. It's better this time from the fullback, but it's not out. Kelly is in position. And that was close to being a 50-22. Just overcooked it.
Yeah, probably only a yard out. It was a good effort, but just slightly unlucky. Look, that's the 50-22 for you, right? It's risk reward. It's a high risk shot, but it is great reward if you can get it.
I suppose some would think that a contestable is maybe more the safer option. Duane taps it back to Kenny. Solves a massive dummy. And this will be interesting, yeah. Head collision.
Again, I think it was just a little bit reckless. I think the ref is just stopping for player safety, just to check. Nigel just wants to check on the player. I think the Lansdowne management team think that might have warranted a yellow there, but Hasty points for the sticks. Now that is the right call when you're 7 up in a league final. Keep that scoreboard taken over.
Especially when you've had a play off the field as well. It just gives you a chance to rest. Just conceding the try in that period. An important kick here for Peter Hasty to take Lansdowne out to 10. We should have time after this kick for the restart.
Oh, we've still a good 2 minutes left on this half.
Hasty. He's done it. Not the best looking kick, but it sailed the distance and had the accuracy.
And again, that's the danger of any penalty within 30 metres with a kick like Hasty. You've got a high percentage of losing points, so the Clontarf discipline has to be absolutely extra vigilant.
Kelly. Not much pressure on Lansdowne that time. O'Sullivan has taken a few of those restarts. And Tony Ryan of Clontarf is really working hard on defence and attack. The number 8. And that's excellent stuff from the scrum half, James Kenny.
Tarf again shortening up the line out.
And this should be last play before half time. And this is an interesting one. Line out on halfway. What do? Do you risk it? You're 10 points down. Do you work for a penalty?
It'll be interesting to see. This is probably going to come off the top. But the question is, do Tarf try and go wide early, or will they try and fix in the middle on first phase?
And Daly taps it back for Feeney to Kelly, and Courtney tackled by Kiernan. And Ryan on the charge again. Kelly with a flat ball. Lansdowne looking to not leak any more points. And the pick and drive from Bulger. The prop forward, Feeney, Kelly, and here's Kearns with the educated boot. And Knowles, he's kept that in field. So both teams wanting to play. They don't care about half time. It's Kearns. And Lansdowne again, causing so much havoc at the breakdown. And Andrew Feeney says that is enough. And it's half time here at Energia Park. It's Lansdowne 17, Clontarf 7. We saw 2 great opening tries by Lansdowne through their inside centre, Paul Kiernan, and their right winger, Golvin. And then Clontarf, they've worked their way back nicely into the game. They scored a try through their halfback, Andrew Feeney. But the execution from Clontarf has just let them down a bit at times.
Yeah, again, they're getting to the right place at the pitch at the right times. But again, it's almost a little bit hurried and maybe a little bit nervous. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Lansdowne look like a team that are comfortable, happy to camp in your 22 for 7-8 phases, break you down and see what happens. Whereas when Clontarf get in there, it just seems to be that little bit of rushness, a little bit of pressure. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now I can see also at half-time, Philly Horan, the scrum coach for Lansdowne, getting his charge to one side and having a chat, because that Lansdowne scrum is under pressure. And Philly, of course, is a highly regarded scrum coach in Leinster, so he won't be happy with that himself, and he will want to have a word in the rear. Again, both lineouts are working quite well, but it is the threat of that Peter Hasty boot. I know we spoke about it in the last couple of minutes and a half, but any penalty within 30 yards, 40 yards of the line, you may suffer that 3-point consequence if you are Clontarf, so you have to be very, very careful there. We're going to take a breath for a second so we can have a quick drink, and we're going to play a word from the Irish Rugby Players Union and a very important message from them.
Obviously throughout the years I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. I was struggling with an injury in Connacht. It was my 3rd shoulder surgery. I think you always kind of remember that lowest part of your career, and that was probably the lowest part of mine. I just remember being with Owen Masterson, a guy who struggled with a very bad knee injury, and we were doing fitness and it was lashing rain. I remember him saying, this is the hard part, when you're mentally struggling and you've no certainty with what's going on. I had set a goal that summer to go on that tour with Ireland. I was probably a million miles away from it, and I don't think anyone probably would have thought it was possible. The counsellor I saw It was actually a brilliant idea she gave me, was to train as if. So train as if I was an Irish international well before I was. If you have the ability to kind of see where you can get to and see yourself being back fit and playing games and enjoying yourself, I think it's hugely important. Yeah, for me to get back that summer then and then make that Irish tour and get my first cap was definitely my proudest moment. I think it goes back to that. It's how you react to the circumstances and you improve yourself. It's kind of a chance for you to grow, and my last one was growing mentally, and it's probably something that earlier in my career probably would have been one of my weaknesses, and now I'd say it's probably one of my main strengths. Yeah, I think it's a journey, and I'm grateful for it, and if I had to go back, I'd probably do it all again. I'm John Cooney, and I'm taking control.
And we're back after a word from our sponsors. Again, look, if you're watching on YouTube today, don't forget to give us a like, give us a follow on the Old Wesley YouTube page. We will be streaming most of our AIL games at home this year. And again, we have our Game in 5 every Tuesday, where we'll be posting highlights of the previous weekend's game. But please do give us a like and a follow. It does help. We don't charge for these. And, you know, it's just a nice way to say thanks. So, Nigel, Carl has blown the whistle. He's instructing the teams back onto the pitch. And we're about to get set to start the second half here. So, Justin, what are any thoughts ahead of the second half? Will we see more of the same? What's your thoughts?
I think Lansdowne will be pretty content with their performance in the first half, but it's really key, I feel, that Clontarf get the next score in this fixture.
Yeah, I think that is key here. And again, I think, you know, they haven't really employed the boot as a tactic, and it's going to be interesting to see if they do it here in the second half, because again, they're getting wide, they're getting space, but that cover D of Lansdowne is staying intact. And again, it's got the hallmarks of Damien McCabe all over that. Damien, of course, there's a lot of D with Lansdowne. Their backs and defence coach. Under, of course, head coach Mark McHugh.
So head coach for Clontarf, Andy Wood, the Kiwi, who arrived in Ireland 20 years ago on a short stay and ended up staying for good. He's also played in an All-Ireland League final twice as a player for Clontarf. And then also had experience winning it as a coach.
It's also worth noting that Lansdowne here playing into Wesley End, there's absolutely no wind here today. There's not a breath of air here in Energia Park.
So Peter Hasty gets the second half underway, and Clontarf laying out a maul, and they'll be happy to gain some meters out of this, just relieve some pressure. And they got space on the left. Kearns puts the kick pass in, perhaps not the best option, and that was well read by Lansdowne through Golvin, the right winger.
Well, it is a Clontarf turnover.
And Donovan has to stand in and scrum off. Feeney back to Kelly. Well taken by Moles. And here's the danger man, O'Sullivan. Staunch defence by Clontarf. And then Gilbert as well.
Great tackle in midfield there, winning the turnover for Clontarf.
Kearns whips it out. Clontarf kick it downtown. Back to O'Sullivan. Eamon Moles to Colvin. Calls it forward, but it's play on. Clontarf putting good pressure at the breakdown. Lansdowne space on the left, it's Ross. And that is adjudicated to be a forward pass from Nigel Correll.
Good opening position here for Clontarf. Again, just some running repairs to players.
Clontarf let off the hook there perhaps. That pass wasn't forward.
Yeah, I did talk about employing a kick as a tactic at half-time, but I wasn't talking about a kick like that or from a position like that. I'm not sure what the outcome they were trying to look for there was, but it wouldn't be something I'd be agreeing with.
And also it's not just the kick, it's the chase as well.
Yeah. Again, it was like kicking shallow in your own 22. That is just such a high risk percentage kick. You know, that's a 95%er, and I don't think that percentage was there.
Safini feeds. And Clontarf looking dominant at scrum time, but it's messy ball by Clontarf. And another error just when they had the ascendancy.
Yeah, again, that half scrum's a little bit under pressure, so maybe some words of wisdom and changes from Philly Horan there at half time. You know, Ryan was more forced to pick that. I don't think it was intended. And again, backing in, it was a good turnover by Lansdowne. Nigel not happy with the setup. He's going to look for it to be reset.
The only ones who are happy are the front rows, Tom.
Yeah, you know, everybody gives out referees at these resets, but you do have to feel sorry for them. You know, safety's paramount for them, and that's what they're looking for. I know it can be a little bit boring as well, but nobody wants to get a prop injured.
So Lansdowne, of course, they need to be careful when they take this back. They can't kick it out on the full. And that is a great scrum by Clontarf, getting a much needed penalty. In decision time here, they go for post.
The sideline is pointing to post here for Clontarf.
It's still tons of time as well. This kick goes over from Connor Kelly. It's a 7-point ball game.
Yeah, but again, great shove after being under pressure in the last scrum. Clontarf Pack just answer right back with that, and there's no better feeling being stuck in there in the second row or in a hooker and popping, hearing that whistle and knowing you've got the penalty. That's really going to put a spring in their step.
Kelly slots it. So both kickers with a 100% record in this fixture.
So again, we're back to a one-score ball game.
And it'll be interesting as well to see how both coaches deploy their bench. Going deep this time is Hasty. And Kearns had plenty of time. He probably would have liked to have got more on that one. So Luke Thompson to throw, and rising highest is O'Sullivan, and Hasty is looking ominous here. Lansdowne busting through. O'Sullivan and Mills couldn't hang on, but it was really looking promising there for Lansdowne.
It was a great line. He ran really hard at that soft outside shoulder, beat him with pace. Again, just slightly unlucky with the pass. Had the pass stuck, I think Tarf will be under the post right now. It's also worth noting that we've got about maybe 1,000, 1,200 people in here today for the game, which is a really good crowd. Really great to see people here of such numbers back in Donnybrook.
Tarf under pressure, and Tony Ryan does really well, tackled by Lansdowne captain Jack O'Sullivan. Feeney, and that's a very good clearance by Connor Kelly.
That's a great clearance by Kelly.
Few replacements here for Clontarf. Ed Brennan is on the park, under 20s player. Thompson to Tuan, and good pressure. Kenny does really well there. Thompson with the pick and go. Kenny, Hasty, and here's trouble. Here's Soroka, the loose head prop. And Lloyd has hit that one out on the full.
Yeah, head in the jersey straight away after that. He knew it was a mistake. Again, you know, they had them turned, they got the turnover, they're in behind them. You know, it was a free play, I get it, but possibly you're better off holding on to those and just taking it down the short side. He had the support there.
Oh, Angus Lloyd, one of the very few players to have worn a Munster, Connacht and a Leinster jersey. Sorry, a Munster, Connacht and Ulster jersey, let's correct myself.
Yeah, on for Feeney.
A lot of experience. Lloyd to feed.
Yeah, it's clear. Clontarf are looking to get their penalties at scrum time here. That ball was at Tony Ryan's feet and he had no intention of letting Angus Lloyd get it. They were looking for their penalty. We'll probably see the same here again.
And Tony Ryan, he's been immense.
Huge. You know, again, massive experience. You know, Tony having played at so many different levels of the game. Towns Cup with Enniscorthy, Leinster underage, Leinster senior. You know, he's one of the most experienced players on the park today.
It's a free kick. Ryan wastes no time. And look at him go like a man possessed. The number 8. Gilbert. And Lansdowne, an excellent steal. Superb. And Kenny have really been good at the breakdown, and they've got a penalty as well. They've got some vital turnovers, have Lansdowne.
Again, just slightly outran his support players there. And the jackal was in straight away. It's a great steal.
Jack Matthews, the reserve scrum off, is on the park for James Kenny for Lansdowne.
And Hasty puts Lansdowne down just inside the Clontarf 22. So again, we'll be interested to see what happens here. Will they look to try and strike that centre hole again like they did the last time?
And that's miscued. That's a laid off for Clontarf. Donovan, the skipper, sends it far into the 22. And Eamon Mills does well to rescue that one. That was a good touch finder. Really, really well done there from the fullback.
This might be an old fat man speaking here, but there's nothing better than seeing a front row player put boot to ball and get 60 metres down the park. Because you know that all the backs are really, really annoyed with it.
So Donovan and the call from Soroka. And Daly wins the line out. Carney, the open side flanker. Ex-Trinity as well. And again at the breakdown, Lansdowne looking to be a menace. But Lloyd wastes no time. The little scrum off. The veteran. But Lansdowne, they'll be loving that. And perhaps not the best decision.
Definitely, and I know hindsight's 2020, but again, you know, you've got the dominant liner here today. You've just taken another penalty. That's when you've got to go to the corner and say, you know what, we're going to take you on up front. It's a very, very warm day here today. You know, there are tired bodies in the field. When you tap and go like that, especially with fresh legs like Lloyd, you're just isolating yourself from the support. Andy Wood won't be too happy with those two decisions by Lloyd. But again, it's a chance for the Tarf pack to set another marker here and get it right back.
Matthews on at half back, and he has Hasty. Was well rescued by Lansdowne. Massive hit. Courtney has really been a linchpin in defence, and that's what pressure can do. Outstanding by the outside centre from Clontarf.
Ken line speed from that Clontarf D, they are relentless. They're just getting up in front of their faces.
Just 7 points between the two sides. Lansdowne 17, Clontarf 10. About 25 minutes to go.
Let's go, Colin. Let's go, Teddy.
Tony Ryan lets it go to Lloyd, and Courtney over the advantage line. And Lansdowne once more. They've really been impressive at the breakdown, and they're doing enough to just stop the momentum of Clontarf. Hasty finding touch. He's really managed the game well, has the out half, Peter Hasty.
And Referee's instructions coming into the hooker on the throw.
Let off for Clontarf and Tonnelan with the drive. Lloyd to Kelly and Kearns. The centre. And Gilbert. Good line speed by Lansdowne. And Clive Ross with the tackle. And they've lost a lot of meterage here of Clontarf, but not panicking. Kelly
Spots the gap in behind.
it's a decent kick there, but Eamon Mills has quite a lot of time. Almost a pinpoint kick.
Kelly again.
Kelly with the contestable. Contest in the air. Eamon Mills does really well. Offload out the back door. That was
defending with too deep as well.
That was a very good contest there in the air. And Thompson just had a strong game, the hooker. Matthews, Hasty, and Reed. And that's a wise decision from the outside centre.
Yeah, there wasn't much available on the outside there, but again, it was a well executed kick. It's quite interesting to see when Clontarf lose the ball, they are transitioning to having too deep. They're dropping back that winger. They're scared of the Lansdowne kick chase through.
Paul Deeney coming on for Clontarf. Brother of Brian Deeney, who's with Leinster.
Again, Deeney, another former Leinster youth out of Wexford. It's interesting to see as well, Feeney has come off, but straight away he's got the water carrier bib on. You know, Wood is using him to get instructions on. He's that type of a smart player. He's very handy to have in the squad.
And Thompson, and here's Boyle hitting the line. The number 8. Here come Lansdowne. It's Jack Dwan. The tight head prop spilled forward. Courtney. And Eamon Mills. And he just hoofs it back into Clontarf's 22. And Jack Power return to sender. And here's Matthews. Thinks about passing and then goes into contact.
He's isolated.
Not scared, the scrum off. And Hasty. And Thompson. Jack Twan with a tip on. And Clive Ross actually does well from his initial position. Hasty with the skip pass to Reed. And here's Mills. Good scramble defense from Clontarf. But the danger's not over. But it eventually is into touch. And Lansdowne, well, where they want to be at the moment, in Clontarf's 22.
Yeah, and again, it's just turning them back, and that's why we see Clontarf sitting back with those two defending deep. You know, when it's not on, Lansdowne will just kick it in behind you, let the ball move to the sideline, and take their position from there. So referee Nigel Carroll has called for a water break. The last water break of the game, just on 60 minutes. Again, it's a very, very close game. We haven't seen too much play inside either team's 22. A lot of it's been played within the middle section of the park. But now, to your point at half time, how will the benches be deployed? we're seeing the subs come on. What impact will they make?
So with the AIL kicking off next week in terms of Division 1A, Lansdowne, they've got Cork Constitution at home. And that'll be a really tough game. And Clontarf have UCD at home, who they just beat last week, right at the end of that fixture, when Dylan Donovan, the hooker for Clontarf, scored in the corner, and Connor Kelly with the conversion to win it at 27 points to 26.
But again, of those university sides, they're only really starting to come into the straps now. You know, the players have probably only been back in camp with them for 5 or 6 weeks. They traditionally start that a little bit later, and again, waiting on students to get college places, not sure who's going to be where. So early season UCD form is most definitely not going to replicate, you know, actual season UCD form.
And Trinity actually a bit similar, because they've also lost their 3 games in this league.
Yeah, but again, you know, it's players not coming back. It's, you know, it's seeing who they have. So, you know, that'll see. I think Con, of course, you know, perennial, you know, top of the table, top 4 in AIL. That is a tough game to start the league against. At least you have them at home. You're not on the road, but that is going to be a tough fixture. So as we restart here in Energia Park, it's a defending line out for Clontarf, about 10 metres from their own line.
This is a crucial line out for Clontarf. 7 points down, inside their 22.
The one in the middle for Lansdowne, looking to get up and get the steal. Yes.
Paul McDaly can't hang on. Thompson with the carry. Matthews and Boyle not rolling away for Clontarf, so free play. And can Lansdowne make it count? It's Thompson. Clontarf defending for their lives here. The pick and go. And we come back for the penalty. Not rolling away.
Shouts of points from the Clontarf sideline to make it a 2-score game. That's a sensible call right here. And Hasty, of course, grabs the ball straight away and says, yep, I'm having this, thanks.
Half at the moment, just inside their half, and Tony Ryan, as ever, he's had about 10 or 15 carries at least in this game. And Griffin, the tight head prop, just really looking to put down the hammer. Clontarf still just inside Lansdowne's half. Just reverting to a bit of radio commentary here. And Courtney, the outside centre. So a lot of passes from Clontarf and a lot of carries, but not really getting the distance that they want to on the clock in terms of carrying. Clontarf spreading it wide. And the defence of Lansdowne is really being good. Soroka with a good carry, but they're still just inside the half Clontarf of Lansdowne. And Lansdowne have really been competitive at the breakdown. Angus Lloyd with a box kick into the 22. And a really good one as well. 5 metres out. And Lansdowne looks like, no, it is going to be Lansdowne's line out, but perhaps a bit of confusion here.
And again,
The
folks,
hookers are not sure.
Please bear with us while we try and get the video stream back up. We're just having some
Clontarf
technical
are
problems.
claiming the line outs. And it will be a Clontarf line out. An opportunity here. There is 16 minutes to go. And we will really be in for a good finish here if Clontarf can get over the white line. Donovan with the throw. And he's at the back once more. Lansdowne. Lloyd goes on the short side to Kurippin, the pop forward, but he's bundled into touch. And that'll be very disappointing for Clontarf. Lansdowne diffusing that threat with ease. It's just a stoppage in play. There's been a few running repairs in this fixture. And a few water breaks as well. Every 20 minutes.
We are back, folks. Apologies about that. Justin, I am solely blaming you for that because you kicked out the plug. That's live broadcasting for you folks, and apologies once again.
I wasn't a goal kicker in my day, so.
Yeah, no, that was a moment of mild panic for me, and I had to turn the microphone off because there was a lot of expletives coming out of my mouth while I tried to fix that one. So apologies all.
So Lansdowne. Clontarf surely will look to poach this one. Gilbert trying to disrupt, but Lansdowne managed to secure their line out. Just looking to relieve some pressure. Griffin, the man who was tackled into touch, might have the turnover here, the big tight end prop, but he hasn't done enough. It was a good effort though, and Peter Hasty hasn't found touch. Mulvaney now. Jordan Mulvaney, the left winger. They've got a penalty, Clontarf, for the high shots.
They've got some numbers out wide if they can use it.
And Pordini with the carry. Soroka with the pass to Courtney, who's been heavily involved. And Carney, he's quite isolated there, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have to go to the corner here of your Clontarf. Corner again and see what they can do.
And having a shot at goal. They want to make it a 7-point ball game. Obviously backing themselves for two
Yeah.
scores at least in the next 13 minutes,
Yeah, it's
which is doable.
no, it is. It's an interesting call, but again, you know, that line-out is working well for them, and I think that's probably better firepower for them here. But again, I guess.
So Egginton. Lovely kick under pressure from Keane Egginton, and he delivers for Clontarf and keeps them in the game, well in the game.
So it's worth mentioning here that if it is a draw today, we are going to have to go to extra time. And then after extra time, it's a convoluted series of rules. We go back at cards, tries, penalty tries, and that will decide the victor. We are deciding a winner here today.
So the trophy will not be shared. And Darcy, he also hasn't stopped today. The number 6, the blindside flanker.
The only thing that's going to be shared here today is a couple of points after the game. That's it. Somebody is bringing the trophy home.
And Lloyd, that's a beautiful looking caterpillar ruck. Sends it to the skies. And there's really been some contestables in this fixture. And Lansdowne, they'll look to put down the hammer. Madigan is on for Lansdowne. Matthews to Thompson. Tackled by his opposite, Donovan, also going for the steal. And here we go, here's Moran. Moran busting through. Beautiful running by Moran. Here's an excellent chance for Lansdowne.
Ball is spilled, but Duane takes it.
And is it a try?
Yeah,
It is.
Jack Duane alert there to the ball that got spilled backwards in contact. Like a salmon leaping. He just picked it up and stretched that long frame over the line to get the touchdown.
Jack Duane. Former Irish under-20s. And went to school at Blackrock College.
So with 10 on the clock now, and Lansdowne extending their score, you'd expect to sit back. You'd expect them to sit back now and start kicking corners and try and defend it out from here.
Lansdowne to add some more points, which they do.
So, of course, Stephen Madigan on for Hastings to take the kick.
Now 14 points the difference. And Lansdowne really in the driving seat. Clontarf, well, they'll need 3 quick scores. And Lansdowne looking comfortable. And a high tackle by Ryan. Lansdowne going for the kick pass, and they had the free play as well.
The weather is going to start having a bit of a factor here now in some of those legs. You know, it's been an incredibly warm day today here. High teens, low 20s in Donnybrook. Sun's been quite strong. We're going to start seeing some tired bodies now and some players starting to fall off tackles.
Thompson, the brilliant throw to Sullivan, and Matthews with the carry. Another pick and drive from Clive Ross. Boyle trying to get over the advantage line. And Kiernan tackled by Courtney. Kavanagh, the prop forward. Matthews. That was Adam Boland that time. Madigan to Ross, and the pass doesn't quite work out.
Quick line out.
Angus Lloyd to Gilbert. And it's messy for Lloyd.
So turnover for Lansdowne.
Lansdowne do really well again. Really been dominant at the breakdown. The kick ahead from Kiernan and Jack Power.
Watch it roll out dead. Some running repairs here.
Matt Healy onto the park for Lansdowne.
For Mark Boyle, quite funny from the Lansdowne sideline. Boyle not wanting to come off. The coaches having to remind them that they know he can hear them. Again, possibly man of the match candidates. Boyle today, he was all over the park, carrying and in tackles. Really, really good player, and still quite young. So we'll restart here with a scrum to Clontarf playing out. Lloyd has the ball ready to put in.
And David Moran, number 22 for Lansdowne, has been very dangerous since he's come onto the park.
Yeah, 5 left. Starting to think it might be just a stretch too far for Clontarf, the way that this Lansdowne team are playing. They're happy to sit back and grind this one out, I would say. Again, scrum maybe 20 in from the line. Tarf set up with 2 wingers on the blind side. Only 3 in the open. 3 players on the open side.
Angus Lloyd spits out the back. Jack Power, the fullback, with the carry. And Clontarf. Just the one try through their halfback Andrew Feeney, and Lansdowne approached it again, and Thompson, he hasn't stopped. Moran with the kick pass for Colvin.
Again, it was a good option there. The minute they got the turnover, the winger moved very wide on it, that he knew the kick would be coming to him. Thompson off now for Lansdowne. Solid shift by Luke.
He's been impressive.
He has.
Barry Gray will throw for Clontarf. And only 3 minutes to go, yeah. And they need a miracle. It's an overthrow. And that is outstanding stuff from Jamie Kavanagh.
That's it. That's the winner right there.
Took full advantage of that malfunction at line-out time. And there was only one way for the number 16. Four tries for Lansdowne in this fixture. And Clontarf have had them under pressure at times, but they've managed it so well. Have Lansdowne. So Moran. Easy as you like. David Moran.
Couple of late scores here, putting a gloss on it for Lansdowne. Don't think the scoreline is overly reflective of the close game, but again, the late scores are making it seem like Lansdowne, it was all one-way traffic, and it sure wasn't today.
And also, there's also been a lot of positives for Clontarf, and if the execution was slightly better, it could have been a different outcome here at Energia Park. Healy with the take. He's tackled by Kearns. And Daly, he's worked tirelessly the whole game. The number 5 for Clontarf. And that's it. Lansdowne are the champions, the Leinster Senior League Division 1 final, with a pretty impressive performance, scoring 4 tries, but perhaps not a true reflection of the competitiveness of the game. Clontarf, just silly errors letting them down at crucial stages.
Yeah, again, you know, I mightn't use the word silly. I think it's just more, they seemed a little bit more rushed. You know, it's sorry folks, we're just been trying to sort out microphones here for the trophy presentation. Okay, and we're back. So we're going to stick with it here to show the trophy presentation, which is going to be made on the pitch, and then we'll finish up. Look, I think it was a really good advertisement for club rugby today, right? This is what the AIL has in store, and anybody watching anywhere in Ireland, if you get to your local AIL club or even your local Division 1 provincial club, this is the standard that you're going to be seeing. So get out, watch some local rugby, and you know, it is an unbelievable product on offer. And again, look, to speak to our refs, I think, you know, Nigel let the game flow. He didn't stamp too much authority on it. He wasn't too pernickety on fouls. I think, you know, I think both sides will be relatively happy with how he refed the game.
But Lansdowne, they were like vultures at the breakdown.
Yeah, and again, you know, some quick taps, some running away from their support, you know, from Clontarf. Yeah, look, you have to feel for them. I think the scoreline, as I said, doesn't reflect it, but you know, that's it as well. Lansdowne were worthy winners here today. They took risks. They were patient. Took risks when needed it. They were patient when they needed to. You know, again, probably line-out needs a little bit of work. Scrum needs a little bit of work. Philly Horan's got his work cut out from there next week or so. But again, look, Lansdowne and Clontarf are always going to be in that top half of the Division 1A table. Two very, very good sides. So we have Leinster Branch President Joe Walsh here to present the trophy today. Joe from Naas, staying on this year again, as most of the presidents of the different provinces and clubs have done with the COVID year last year. So Justin, because you're eating, I'm going to put you on the spot. What are your predictions for 1A AIL this year? You know, you've seen a lot of AIL rugby. You follow an awful lot of it. Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be very difficult to say, and that's purely because of the reason that, you know, the season's missed the season. So there'll be a whole lot of movers and shakers, and I know it's Division 1B, but a team like Highfield would have been hard done by in the 2019-20 season, because they might have got the step up to 1A.
Yeah.
And I know I'm using a 1B example here, but would a side like that continue their form from 2 years ago? It's very, very difficult to call. As you've mentioned, the university sides struggle at the beginning of the season. It might be a different outcome halfway during the season. They might get some momentum, might bring through some incredible players. So it's a very difficult one to call, and I think that's what makes it very exciting.
Yeah. And again, look, I think, you know, COVID has affected leagues, and we're seeing more players have migrated down the country as well. So a lot of players have returned back to Limerick and Cork, and we'll see what impact that'll have on the league structure. So we turn to Joe now for the trophy presentation.
Luke Thompson. Tony Dunn. James Mazza. Jack Dwan. Clive Ross. Boiler, Mark Boyle. James Kenny. Peter Hasty. Leo Sullivan. Paul Kiernan. Sean Dobbin. Amy Mills. Jamie Connor. Dan Boland, Matt Healy, Dan Murphy, Jack Matthews, David Ward, Steve Manning. Just first of all, I just want to say big thanks to the match officials, to Nigel the lads. Obviously without refs, getting ground flow, so I thought you guys did a really good job today, so just a quick round of applause for refs. Also to the Clontarf lads, that's been a great shift today. I know a lot. You're obviously building for obviously something similar to yourselves, so looking forward to another at least 2 big tussles later on this season. So just a round of applause for Clontarf. I'd like to thank our coaching staff, Mark and the lads. We've put in a massive shift this summer. It's been definitely one of the toughest pre-seasons I've had in Lansdowne, but I think it showed out there today, in the heat. The boys really dug in, and I think it kind of reflected on the football. Game kind of ran away, I'd say, towards the end, but it was a great fight for the lads. Well done. So work done, but loads to do. And just lastly, I'd like to just say well done and thank you for everyone that showed up today. It's obviously brilliant having a couple of fans down, and it's really gives us such a boost. You got a bit of a buzz around the place, so just to yourselves, guys, thank you very much.
An absolutely great weekend for Leinster Rugby. We're hosting 10 finals between today and tomorrow, so it's great to have Cup Rugby back where it belongs, right on the pitch, and the best of luck to everyone for the season. And without further ado, I'd like to hand over the Cup for safekeeping.
Well, that's it. That wraps up our stream for today. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and again, apologies for a slight technical malfunction towards the end of the second half. But again, make sure you give us a like and a follow on YouTube, and stay tuned for all the rugby throughout the year. Stay safe, thank you, and goodbye.
That was very entertaining, actually.
Oh, yeah, well, that's good.